There we go. OBS, are you going to let me have any sound? The answer is yes. So here we are, and is the camera bugging out again via autofocus? Let me just look at it a little bit, make a bunch of noise, and see if it screws up. All right. There truly is nothing like false starts for streams because some OBS thing flakes out at the last minute. Just for the heck of it, let's just refocus the camera anyways. I'm fuzzy, I'm fuzzy. This is not your TV set. That's the problem. Much better. I do have some boosted contrast and saturation as well, but this would look much better if I ever got those ring lights hooked up in an area where I could voice control them and add them into the streaming setup. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, coming out here in the middle of the night once again to have a nice little hybrid stream style discussion. What kind of people, how exactly, you know, who in their right mind is going to be watching this at 3-something in the morning my time? Well, it's morning in Europe, and it's afternoon, evening in Asia somewhere. So, like we used to say at the radio station, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. But the other thing we have to remember with all of this is that YouTube is an evergreen platform. So, in a sense, the live component doesn't matter if you bring a decent discussion to your stream. So if I look at, for example, the last one of these that I did, these streams are getting into the category of what I expect for, or getting into the ballpark of views that I will get for stuff that I do that isn't tech videos. So views-wise, they're in the ballpark of, you know, oh yeah, it's like, you know, non-tech video type stuff. So the thing is, I think the message is catching on. It just takes a little, it's going to take a little bit of work for people to get de-twitched, so to speak, because Twitch's influence on live streaming is just so big. It's just so influential that Twitch really transcends the way people, you know, it's not just about the platform anymore. People think about streaming in a certain way because of Twitch. It's going to take a lot more people streaming on YouTube and not following Twitch convention for anybody to get a different idea of what being live is all about. This is this whole thing where I really don't know where this Twitch culture or whatever it is, I don't know where this gets its kicks from, thinking they could just come onto a larger, general purpose, more successful platform like YouTube and just take over the place. I mean, seriously. Look, if you want to know what I'm talking about, this is YouTube. We're live on YouTube, of course. Poke around YouTube, find some people who are not involved on Twitch that do live streaming. Sub to them, ring the bell, set to all notifications, check them out when they're live. I mean, if you stop and think about it, why should Twitch in any way dominate things with this whole just chatting thing? Why? YouTube was doing it first. It just wasn't live. What does this thing that I'm doing right now remind you of if you're an old school YouTuber like me? Vlogging. What's the point of me vlogging ever again other than to get past the limitations of live? If vlogging was simply this, no, literally, it's exactly the same stuff, just with better production value. Instead of a webcam with a built-in microphone, crappy audio quality, and, well, you know what? This webcam will scale down, so why don't we just drop the resolution all the way to 320 by 240? Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, no, we run the risk of screwing everything up. 320 by 240, we got really small. And can I drop the FPS any lower? Actually, let me put it back to 1920 by 1080, and let's put it down to like 15 frames per second. There we go. So now we're back in the olden days. Now let's drop. How low can we go? Can you go 320 by 240 at 15 frames per second? Oh, I can't go 15 frames per second on that. How about 352 by 288? That should be... No. Okay, all right, never mind. Put it back to... Stop tempting fate. Put it back to full 1080p. Set the FPS to 30 so it has some time to process all the audio and everything. But you know what old webcams look like, right? Yeah, you know what old webcams look like. I mean, fuzzy picture. Oh, right, we gotta set the camera back up. Fuzzy picture, built-in microphone for sound. It was garbage, absolute garbage. And so today, of course, you have sub $100 webcams like this Nexigo right here that do a darn good picture that rivals my camcorders. So does a darn good picture that rivals my camcorders, and it's a webcam. So not too bad with the animation versus the low shutter speed Logitech that I started with about a year ago, and it processes the low light a heck of a lot better. So you actually get to see the kind of blue into purple, that Kubuntu-inspired lighting that I'm looking for here. So, but if you go back to the early days of YouTube, people were making videos exactly the same way. Webcam, maybe not even a built-in, they were using the built-in mic for everything. Nowadays, we have boom stands, we have shock mounts, and all kinds of other stuff for our gaming mics, or we could use a gaming headset or something like that. But you just have so much more stuff and so much better stuff for something that is fundamentally what built YouTube in the first place, vlogging. I don't know, at least in terms of webcams. Nowadays, maybe you could do this with a smartphone or something like that and replicate the olden days when you'd walk around pointing a digital camera at yourself and you'd be spinning around, essentially taking a giant moving selfie, which is what a lot of IRL streaming is these days. So the more things change, the more they stay the same? I don't know, you tell me. So why should Twitch streamers feel like they can come over to YouTube and just take the place over? We were doing this before Twitch was a thing. It just wasn't live. No, the most rudimentary video updates out there, the classic video blog. Camera, webcam even, and you just show up every day with something to talk about and you upload it to YouTube. Like I said, I think that YouTube's original slogan, broadcast yourself, applies more to streaming than it ever did to video blogging. But go ahead, sub to a YouTuber who also live streams, besides me. They won't have the lights, they won't have the microphone. Many times they'll have like some basic stuff. Maybe they're even using a work from home setup, like they would use on Zoom calls or something. But, I mean, streaming is what it is, and as far as I'm concerned, YouTube in the 2020s is a package deal. Let's get some synthwave going here. All right, and let's try something a little different tonight. Doing some experimenting. I'm doing some experimenting with ear trumpet, limiting this to now 7% because 10% was too loud last time. So we're going to use the same volume that I would use in videos, like 7%, and hope it doesn't get too soft. So I think this should take care of in terms of keeping the background music in the background. But we have a situation on our hands tonight where I don't know what to say, So title of the stream tonight, our main discussion is going to be about YouTube nerfing its cloud editor. But before we get to that, let's talk about something very important. If you don't like what I do, don't watch. It's not that hard. And in today's algorithmic age, if you want to actually hold back a creator you don't approve of, you do that by having nothing to do with them. We know that YouTube has the dislikes counting as a form of engagement, and I actually saw, of course, YouTube reassuring someone who was upset about being the target of a malicious dislike campaign that, oh yeah, your dislikes still count as engagement, so, it looks bad, but it actually helps you in the system. The thing is, though, one of the things you got to remember with regards to all of this is that other people's opinions are what they are. What matters in terms of your channel is what you make and whether or not you're constantly looking to improve. Everybody has opinions about everything and everyone. They don't have to make sense. They don't have to be true. They don't have to be logical. Nothing. Because not everybody thinks in a truthful or logical fashion. There are some people that are really off the rails somewhere. What do you think the opinions that everybody has are going to be like with people like that? And then as if the people that actually are like that aren't enough of an issue, let's also not forget someone can give themselves some cheap entertainment by acting that way as well. I've seen people starting arguments on the internet that don't realize just how easy it is to complain on the internet all the time. Like I had a very cynical statement on Twitter earlier about these activist streamers who are supposedly really mad about some social justice issue, And yet they sit there playing Stardew Valley for 5 hours instead of streaming themselves getting involved in a nonprofit that might actually be, or whatever, an activist group or a charity group, whatever, that could do something about all of that. You know, you think the world is too cruel to the poor, and yet you're sitting there mooching donos while playing Stardew Valley for 5 hours a day or whatever. How about you, if you have the streaming gear, how about you create video evidence that you're doing something besides complaining on the internet about it? Now, there's a challenge you don't hear very often. You know, I've been involved mostly in churches that do this, but I've been involved with groups that won't go out and do what they called helping the hurting. People that would put in the work to go out and, you know, run a soup kitchen, or, you know, have some kind of canned food drive or something along those lines, or keep a canned food pantry for those less fortunate. You know, people that would help out those in need. And then you come onto the internet and you see these people that will disown you in a heartbeat because you're not as angry about something as they are. And then you see them turn on stream and they're just playing video games all the time. Look, the time you spend just playing video games when you're this angry about something, would it be better spent getting involved to make a difference? Instead of just sitting there using outrage to make people want to sub to you on Twitch so you can get a passive income from keeping a certain group of people angry who are as angry as you are, sending you $5 a month. Yeah, I mean, either way, if you don't like someone, don't watch them. Another thing to remember is that there are plenty of fish in the sea. This is something I usually hear people talk about when it comes to like dating or something. They get dumped or something and they're all crying about it and upset, and their friend says to them, hey, you know, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Well, when it comes to online media, that statement is incredibly true. We talked a while back, probably months ago at this point, about how YouTube and Twitch both have algorithms, just some are better than others. And one of the things that these algorithms are doing is, if you're a content creator, these algorithms are noting the style you have and who's watching you and what the people watching you seem to be interested in. We mentioned before that thing that Rachel talked about in that Creator Insider video, that algorithms find videos for viewers more than viewers for videos. So if you show interest in something and you watch it long enough, it's not if but when the algorithms are going to recommend someone or something that's stylistically similar to what it is that you're interested in. So there's plenty of fish in the sea. If you don't like what you're seeing on Twitch, don't feel stuck there. If you don't like what you're seeing on YouTube, don't feel stuck there. You're probably not more than a few clicks away from your entire experience completely changing, because there's a lot of people in this world. Those people have lots of opinions, and those people have lots of styles and takes on things and cultures and languages. I mean, it's a big, big world out there. You should never feel like you're stuck watching someone you don't like. Which is why when I have people that just dislike everything that I upload, I wonder about them and what their life has sunk to, that's the only thing they have going for them. Same thing, too, with these people on Twitter who are making Twitter into something way bigger than it needs to be. Twitter is for updates. That's all that it's good at. There are other features like video and other stuff, but it doesn't work as well as some other platform that already does this better. Even DMCA. There's been some people that have gotten some nasty surprises with DMCA because they use Twitter video instead of embedding something from YouTube or Twitch or something. I mean, Twitter can support embeds of Twitch clips, Twitch highlights, YouTube videos, the works. There is next to no reason to use their incredibly sloppy video feature for anything. It's one of those things where these platforms don't do a good enough SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, classic business term, to realize what their strengths are and what they should be going after. But there's plenty of fish in the sea, and nothing really illustrates this more than this data set. Link up to Microsoft Edge. then this data set, I remember Devin Nash showing an earlier version of this, but this is the February 2021 version of this. I don't know what the data, how big the data is on this one, but this is what I call the Twitch Galaxy. See users J picture. Can I get the address bar off the screen for this so I can show more video? Let's see. Is there a way to remove that here? Settings. I don't want to go into the settings too much, but how? Well, you know what? Why don't we? What happens if we hit F11? There we go. Much better. To exit full screen, move mouse to the top of the screen, press F11. Get the address bar off. I want to zoom this and I want to look around. So this is the work. Let me get his name here off of another browser. Kiran Gershenfeld is a computer science undergrad student who has a write-up about this Twitch Galaxy thing over on GitHub. And basically what it's looking to do here, whoa, zoom in, baby. Let's just zoom out on the galaxy here. What this is it's a visual representation of many large Twitch streamers and how much their audiences overlap. All of the little lines and stuff is basically links to someone else somewhere in this Twitch universe, so to speak. And I actually saw this, when I first saw this, I was like, this looks like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X. If you don't know what that is, the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X is basically how your characters level up, and as you move around the grid, things, you get new abilities and stuff. Healers will be in one section, offensive spellcasters will be in another section, fighters will be in another section, things like that. I think what the idea here is that between algorithms and stylistic similarities and being appealing to different groups of people or similar groups of people, these dots that represent large Twitch channels, basically the way it is find who you're watching now. If you want to totally change what you're looking at, the couple clicks rule, find who you're watching right now and then just move a little ways over and you'll start seeing the style and the experience of Twitch, maybe even the language, change when you start looking at some of these, when you start moving around the Twitch galaxy, so to speak. This is a really cool graphic. I don't know how much the time period is that this is all based on, but this I think was from February of this is from February 2021. I don't know how long the data was covering, but the idea here is how much do these communities or how much do these fan bases overlap with each other, and their position is based on that. So oftentimes when you run into a gap, like say around here, you're probably crossing a language barrier or something like that. This giant continent, so to speak, I think is all English. This is Spanish. This is French. Do I have my cursor? Yeah. This is French. Down here is Korean. I think this is Portuguese, if I remember right. Let me zoom in on it. Yes, Brazil. Portuguese. This, I think, is Turkish. This is Russia over here. The yellow thing is German. And what else do we have up here? I forgot what this one was. Oh yeah, there's Italian streamers in here as well. Japanese, I think, with all the TWs over here, this is everyone streaming in Chinese. So you have languages represented essentially as, well, obviously language barriers here, and then you have all the English speaking everything around here, where the color changes based on the games that they play, if they feature a certain type of game at all. So the purple is where I'm usually at, because these are the people that don't really have a game. These are the people that don't really have a game they play all the time, so they tend to have some more variety. And then, of course, this big green thing over here, I believe, is Minecraft. Pink is the stylistic, thing with the with Pokimane and the offline TV folks. So there'll be stylistic similarities here. They might play the same games too, like Among Us and stuff like that. And I think over here is, I believe, we're getting into first-person shooters and stuff along those lines. Rocket League even has its own color as well in some versions of this. CSGO, certain esports games. Within the English block, a lot of these colors represent either different styles, cliques, or games and stuff like that. And so, let me see. I recognize most of the names in the purple section. There's Train. Back to full screen. Okay, good. You got Train, Barry, and Yugi are on here. I think they'll drift a little closer when future versions of this are run. Soda Poppin', Summit, Hassan, Mizkif, and things like that. And the closer they are to others, supposedly the more crossover there is. But I don't know how you really get all the data to display everything properly when there's a lot of crossover between a lot of big streamers. So a lot of these are, you know, kind of like the bigger names are kind of a who's who of Twitch. The smaller names are, you know, maybe some folks you might have heard of. I think they have to have a decent amount of concurrence in order to even show up on here. And the big names that can be read when we zoom all the way out are massive. So you have XQC, you have Nick Merckx, you have Shroud. Ninja is a little bit smaller here because he's a little bit smaller these days. Orinplay is a very popular Spanish streamer. Tommy Innit, very popular Minecraft streamer. So, and then we just zoom back in here. Here's Hot Tub Central here with Amaranth and Indie Fox and stuff like that. So the thing is, though, if you find if there's a streamer you watch a lot but you're not as big of a fan of anymore, find them on this chart and then move away a bit to get some ideas of is maybe try just randomly tuning in and seeing who it is you want to watch, because you only have to move a little bit, maybe change a color here and there for your entire experience on Twitch to completely change. I can tell you that the experience with XQC is substantially different from the experience with, where's Bob Ross? I think because for some strange reason, Bob Ross showed up as a Minecraft streamer. I don't know if it's because of crossover, because he's kind of, you know, the Bob Ross shows are really mellow and relaxing, and Minecraft can be a pretty chill game and stuff like that. So now, there's some other weird stuff going on here, like Justa Minx is definitely not a Minecraft streamer, but she played a lot of Minecraft maybe while this data was being taken, so she shows up around here. Markiplier, too. I don't think of Markiplier as a Minecraft streamer, but maybe he was playing enough Minecraft when this data was being captured that he showed up. So, the idea here is kind of move around the universe. So, if so-and-so is ticking you off, just move a little ways over and, oh, let's check out this person, and you'll probably see quite a few things change. So, except for ones based on clicks. So, the Pokimane crowd with all the pink dots, I think, would all have some similarities here and there. Because I've already seen, you know, Pokimane, Quarter Jade, Lily Pichu, and a few other names in the pink section, regardless of where they are, start a little drama on Twitter from time to time. So, anyways, the whole reason why I'm showing this data set, and definitely go check it out on GitHub, I have a link over on my Twitter, twitter.com/MultimediaJay. The reason why I was showing this data set is to just remind you there's plenty of fish in the sea. So, never feel like you're Stockholmed or whatever by someone you're watching. Maybe you don't approve of them anymore. It's just, it only takes a couple of clicks for the algorithms on either of these platforms to introduce you either to someone similar who might not have the issues that you're upset about, or to introduce you to someone who is radically different. Your entire experience of Twitch and YouTube completely changes. And with that whole thing that we had there with the Twitch Galaxy, you may even change languages if you go far enough. So, in the case of Orinplay, I'm actually curious about learning Spanish. So, now I want to see how much fun he seems to be having in his streams, and that's kind of an inspiration to learn more of the language so I can know what's going on when he's talking about stuff. Plus, become familiar with there's different types of Spanish spoken around the world. So you have Spanish, and you have Latin American Spanish, things like that. Portuguese is branched off the same way too, with Brazilian Portuguese versus Portuguese. So just want to, and the same thing with French, between France French and Canada French. So different ties in history to like the old French kingdom versus the French republics, things along those lines. The folks in Quebec can explain that a lot better than I ever could. So it's just, but yeah. So, and then from a creator standpoint, remember that the algorithms are trying to introduce your audience to your replacements at any given time. So again, with content creator baggage, you want to stick with the stuff that you're happiest with, feel like you've accomplished something, because otherwise, what are you doing this for? Especially in the case of money too. I mean, you don't want to do YouTube. You don't want to try and be a money YouTuber either, because the time you spend on YouTube or even streaming would be better spent just getting a second minimum wage job somewhere in terms of making money. So there has to be a passion for what you're doing, because if you don't have it, you don't stick with it. And your audience doesn't have any kind of consistency to go off of. Now let's talk about YouTube's little faux pas here to round out our discussion with our main discussion tonight. YouTube nerfed its cloud editor. YouTube, what were you thinking? Let me open up Excel again, bring back those quarterlies, and very bluntly remind YouTube, Streamlabs quarterlies cruncher, please put that back on the darn screen. Excel. YouTube. YouTube as a streaming platform kind of didn't have a good quarter last quarter. Now, we know that YouTube, well, in terms of game streaming anyways, the big wild card with this is these numbers are probably apples to apples game comparisons and stuff. I don't know, but I know YouTube, with between all the cameras and all the wildlife cameras and all the stuff you don't see a lot on Twitch, that YouTube is a huge platform when it comes to live. Facebook has Facebook Live separate from Facebook Gaming as well. But audience growth. Let's look at the audience side of this. So, whoops. Less hours watched in Q1 2021 versus the progress year over year, however, that assumes this is cyclical though. Year over year, let's see, what do we have? 1076, 13. Year over year, there was an improvement, but things went up and they dropped down for the most part. So, year over year, you could say there was an improvement, but that's the only way you can say that there was an improvement, especially when you look at Twitch. Here's Q1 2021 in terms of millions of hours watched and stuff. And let's go all the way back to Q1 2020. Yeah. Let's stop trying to make ourselves feel better with excuses here. So, YouTube as a streaming platform. This is the audience half of it with hours watched. YouTube as a streaming platform. If you want more Twitch streamers to come over to YouTube, they can't be feeling like they're losing something by coming over here. So here's what happened. We talked last time about the removal of Save as New in the YouTube Cloud Editor. Save as New was how you made spin-off videos. So, Save as New was how you could make spin-off videos. It was YouTube's answer to the Twitch highlighter, which lets you take a stream and take the best parts of the stream, make them into videos on their own, and if you design your stream properly, you can cut out some stuff here and there to make them look like semi-produced videos. Not with as fancy of transitions as a video that you make in a video editor, but still some basic stuff, some basic hard cuts to make videos out of that. I've been experimenting with that. Did it on Twitch last year. Found out it was better on YouTube, then went back to Twitch and found out Twitch, with the highlight creator, had similar but not as precise tools. And now YouTube goes and deprecates the Save as New function. What were they thinking? YouTube, you want more Twitch streamers to come over to YouTube. They cannot be losing something when they come over here. Even though download, edit, re-upload is perfectly valid on this platform, as opposed to on Twitch, where if you do download, edit, re-upload, you can only upload as an affiliate, and then uploads have like next to no support. But just because Twitch has that little screwball issue doesn't mean that everybody on YouTube should be subject to download, edit, re-upload in order to make spin-off videos of their streams. So, you can design a stream to where making videos looks okay if you can save as new. It doesn't work as well if you don't have that. So here's what happened. Let's open up the help article. I got a response from Team YouTube. Let's see. YouTube is badly managed. Where is that thing here? Ah, no, I didn't get the answer from Team YouTube. I got the answer via email. Let's see. Save as new, removed YouTube support. See if they have it. Save as new feature going away soon. All right. Save as new feature going away soon. Let's put this, didn't we have a mode for this? Like newspaper mode or something like that? Article mode, there it is. Does this still work? I think we're using the web browser for this one. Avast Secure, link that up to save as new. Trim your videos. There we go. Article mode. Save as new feature. We could always just move this. We could always just move this up as well. And then put the player down. And then put this player down here somewhere. Yeah, center it a little bit better. Save as new feature going away soon. The ability to use the save as new feature when trimming or blurring your video will be discontinued after March 17th, 2021. The feature was rarely used. This feature was rarely used, and we're removing it to focus on other creator tools. This is language that YouTube uses when features are removed, and as far as I'm concerned, it's an excuse. Yeah, the feature was rarely used, YouTube, because a lot of people didn't realize the value of doing all these things through the cloud instead of having to download, edit, re-upload every single thing. So you can cut out the beginning, middle, and end of your video on a computer. You don't need to re-upload a video to trim it. The video's URL, view count, and comments will stay the same. This feature is only available for videos shorter than 6 hours. If your video has over 100,000 views, you may not be able to save changes to it except to blur faces. This restriction does not apply to channels who are in the YouTube Partner Program. Here's the thing. Save as new was used for spin-off videos. A lot of times spin-off videos would process faster than streams and edits. So I can tell you that whereas the extended process, if I had, for example, a live stream that didn't have anything happen in the chat, or if I disabled the chat and didn't notice it, or I want to drop the chat completely because I don't think I want to keep it around, I could make a spin-off video and have it ready in minutes, as opposed to having to wait sometimes hours for cloud edits to finish. So there's also the issue with monetization, which is pokier on the streaming side than it is on the video side. So if you didn't want to wait for extended processing to finish and potentially have your stream demonetized until extended processing finished, you got treated like a video, and of course the dings in the algorithms when things are demonetized. If you didn't want to put up with that, one of the few options you had was a spin-off video. But the most important thing with spin-off videos is that spin-off videos let you take something big and turn it into something smaller. So if you streamed about 3 different things and you engineered your stream correctly, you could make videos out of those 3 things completely in the cloud by making 3 copies of your stream that are cut down to only feature those individual segments. So if you really know what you're doing, and YouTube has an incredibly precise video editor that goes down to the frame instead of just like the second or something like on Twitch. If you knew what you were doing, you could make these videos completely in the cloud and not have to download, edit, re-upload. There's also an issue that I'm running into with my own video editor, that it's inserting phantom syllables when I do editing with it. That's something I have to experiment with when I start doing some videos again. Deciding, do I need a new camera? Do I need new editing software? And let's also not forget, in this post-Windows Movie Maker age, YouTube videos, I mean, what is available in terms of editing? One of the technical hurdles you need in order to get into making videos on YouTube is getting an editor, as opposed to on, say, a live streaming platform where you just go live. You know, there is no editing because it's all one big long take. And you can use the YouTube Cloud Editor to get rid of the dull bits. So, taking away features, even if they're rarely used, I mean, this is the excuse. That was the reason why video responses were removed. Video responses were rarely used, except there were channels that ran completely off of video responses. So this is something where YouTube will get rid of a feature, and this will be the excuse you'll see somewhere that it was rarely used. Well, if people don't know the value of using a feature, they're not going to use it. Big surprise. If people don't know the value of a feature, they're not going to use it. If they can't find a use for a feature, they're not going to use it. So, the ability to make spin-off videos would have benefited live streamers the most, because if you're working on an upload, you make it offline, and then you upload it afterwards. However, if you make a big stream, and you stream about multiple things, you can make those into spin-off videos if you put the right stuff in the right place. So all you do is trim stuff, and actually you end up with something that looks like you edited it. Now, who's going to benefit from that the most? Streamers. The people that, you know, we need some more hours watched on here for YouTube gaming. You know, that number that didn't do so well in Q1, huh? So yeah, YouTube. People didn't use your features, yeah, but the people that didn't use your feature were the very people that you want to have more of on this platform. People streaming. That was the most useful use for Save as New. And here's something else I could do with Save as New, which is now, well, I suppose I could do it with the original file if I want to mess with it that way. Some of my older videos, like Magic Chef Portable Dryer, the first impressions video, people think it's too rambly. It's from 2016-ish, years behind what I'd make today. I could have made this in the cloud. I could have taken it in the cloud, made a spin-off that cut out all the rambling without having to download, edit, re-upload, or anything like that. So, just because people don't use a feature doesn't mean you can just remove it. Because here's the thing. Twitch now has something that YouTube doesn't. So, what am I streaming on YouTube for? If nobody watches me no matter where I stream, I should go over to Twitch, do a just chatting stream buried over there, save my points, use the highlight feature over there to make rough versions, use the robust export feature to send it over to YouTube, and then after the 24-hour cooldown for Twitch affiliate, use the YouTube cloud editor to refine and finish editing and start everything up. And also, by the way, spin-off videos were a faster way to make edits. And when the editing software glitched out, Save as New let you start things back up once it finished the faster processing. With just editing the one version of the video in the cloud, the way it works now is you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait for that processing to get done. If you have to make 10 edits to a video because of things you want to cut out, you have to make 10 edits to a video in the cloud, and the editor glitches out after edit 5 or 6, you now have to wait longer to finish editing with the cloud editor. This is a nerf to the YouTube Studio Cloud Editor, and it is something now that Twitch has and YouTube doesn't. Now you could say, oh, but it's Twitch's limitations that are the reason why this matters on Twitch, but not so much on YouTube, because Twitch doesn't have any real robust upload support. Wasn't in the new UI. We've tested it. Single-digit views, and the ability to search for an evergreen video on Twitch goes away after either a week or from a week to a month, depending on how popular the game is or whatever, that the category it's placed in. We've tested this. I've gone and tested this myself. Evergreen YouTube videos that I uploaded on Twitch a couple of years ago during the Twitch upload experiment couldn't search for them. Even when I typed in the exact title, my video would not show up in the results. After a certain amount of time on Twitch, your upload gets shut off. And people have to find it through your channel, and that's the only way that works. So yeah, terrible next to no upload support on Twitch. So that would mean, of course, that a feature like the highlight maker is a lot more useful on Twitch. However, if a Twitch streamer comes over to YouTube, they cannot feel like they're losing something. Or they have less tools available on YouTube than they did on Twitch. So yeah, this was not a good idea. Removing it to focus on other creator tools like what? Because if you want to make up for this, you can release a new creator tool that makes it so that this isn't an issue anymore. Maybe bring it back and have it be better than ever by putting it into something new. Otherwise, it's a nerf. And it's a nerf specifically when YouTube needs to pick things up with how much people are watching streams on this platform. I don't know what more needs to be said. So yeah. Close that out. There you go, YouTube. It's a competition with Twitch. But what is the thing? What is the common thread with a lot of the competition that has surfaced on the horizon to YouTube in recent years? The common thread is that competition thrives when YouTube screws something up. Demonetization, the adpocalypse, algorithms getting in the way of your videos and now streams being able to have an audience. People are going to Twitch despite Twitch's problems and despite Twitch's lack of technology because of some perceived benefit from being over there. Oftentimes that perceived benefit is based on something that YouTube doesn't measure up with. There's reasons why people go to the competing platforms, and quite frankly, I think it's about time YouTube realized there is no substitute for feature parity. There's no substitute for having the same features available for streamers here as it is over on Twitch. No substitute. It's crazy, you know? Because you know what people are pushing for when it comes to YouTube versus Twitch now? Gifted subs. That's one of the big Twitch features I keep hearing people talk about. In chat, in comments, over on Creator Insider videos or streams where people are talking about YouTube versus Twitch. Some of the discussions with Harris Heller coming over to YouTube. Might even find it in a Nick Nimmons stream if I look hard enough. Don't know how many people ask him Twitch questions. He's more straight up YouTube than some of these other people are. But it is completely unacceptable to be pulling features when YouTube streaming didn't have a good quarter last quarter. You can't be having people feeling like they're losing something. Even if it's just a minor feature that might be somewhat useful. One of the problems with Twitch is the learning curve just to get involved over there. There are lots of things that people that are regularly involved with Twitch are so used to, they take for granted. They don't even think about it. But someone coming in who's new, not gonna have a clue, and it may be a turnoff to them being involved in Twitch if they don't play catch up really, really quickly. Great example is the emotes. Not all the emotes are built in to the UI. You need something like Better TTV and Franker Face and stuff to see them all. And those are the animated ones that really add some character to the chat. You know, things like Pepe Laugh Tea Time, Wide Peepo Happy, da-da-da. Dance emotes. The Blob Dance emote, which is another one of my favorites. Those are all animated emotes that are not available through the default Twitch UI, and Twitch UI doesn't even give you emotes that are animated. But they add a lot of character to Twitch chat, and they add a lot of character to the stream. You know, if you're playing a hard-hitting 4-on-the-floor dance track and a bunch of people are doing blob dance in the chat, it's kind of cool. So, but people go over to Twitch because of some perceived benefit of being there. So if they feel like, and part of the problem with Twitch, like we've been saying, is that you have to learn really what a lot of the stuff going on over there is all about. You get somebody that doesn't have better TTV, they go over there and they see Monka W or Blob Dance in half the darn chat messages, you'll think it's a spam haven or something. You won't get the jokes. You won't understand why people spend so much time watching it. You won't stick around. The bottom line with that is that, the bottom line with the whole Twitch thing, with regards to this learning curve, you should not have to explain why certain things on a platform are good. Now let's come over to YouTube. Yeah, YouTube doesn't have a highlights feature technically anymore. So, but YouTube has more robust upload support. So download, edit, re-upload is not as bad of a thing over here as it would be over on Twitch. But if I have to explain that as a key difference between the platforms, that's going to drive some people away. Because not everybody wants to have a big... Not everybody has access to somebody who can explain this to them, so they'll have to figure it out, hopefully, by themselves. And not everybody really would want to have this be you know, they wouldn't really want to go to all the trouble to get used to this sort of thing. So they can't feel like they're losing something when they're coming over here, because now, you know what we have now? We have an environment where if you want to do more stuff in the cloud, you stream on Twitch and use the highlight export feature to send everything over. And then what if they get viewers on Twitch and they don't want to do as much stuff on YouTube anymore? Why should they stream on YouTube then? I mean, the platforms have their ups and downs. I think YouTube overall has the better package, especially for newer streamers, because there's no emphasis on concurrence. Experimentation over here is not something you get systemically punished for by not getting Twitch affiliate or Twitch partner as quickly because of your concurrence or lack of them. So experimentation and other forms of expression, and quite frankly dumb luck, is not a bad thing around here. So let's say, you know, oh, you're streaming one night, nobody watches. Oh yeah, there's something good on TV that night. You don't get punished for it. Unless you choose to punish yourself by being in a bad mood about not getting a lot of viewers. But removing save as new from the YouTube cloud editor, not a good idea. Oh, and another thing it does is it cements the cloud editor is only for editing what you already have. It's not for actually making anything, and that's a huge problem. You looking for... Let's look at other Google products here. Look at Google's Office apps. Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. It's supposed to be an alternative to Microsoft Office. Those Google products are supposed to be a cloud way to make stuff, not just edit stuff that already exists. Those Google products can be used to make things. But not the YouTube Studio editor, not the video editor, not that technical hurdle that holds people back from making videos until they figure out what video editor they want to use. Was there even a proper descendant to Windows Movie Maker? What's the proper? Sure, there's probably something free. There's an Adobe movie editing and stuff like that. Windows Movie Maker was discontinued. Yeah, that's what I thought. Wikipedia. Windows Movie Maker was discontinued. There is a video editor built in with Microsoft Photos on Windows 10. So that's the thing. But how many people know that? I mean, so much classic YouTube was done with Windows Movie Maker. I mean, I can recognize a Windows Movie Maker video from a mile away. Now, same transition. There were these transitions that the transitions, intros, and other stuff that everybody always used back then. So, but so many people started out on YouTube with Windows Movie Maker and then moved up to something else. But how many people know that a Photos app lets you edit videos? I had to look it up. So, if Google can already make something that can be done through the cloud to make stuff, why can't they do it with the video editor in YouTube Studio? Why does the video editor in YouTube Studio have to be cut back? So that it's mostly useful for editing stuff you already have. It'll still be useful for that, but it won't be useful for making new stuff. So the hurdle continues. What if, say, you could make videos with YouTube? I mean, broadband's getting fast enough. Why not upload your footage, edit it into videos, and then delete the footage off of YouTube? Yeah. Upload it. Record all your footage, just upload it. Internet connections are fast enough that you just, like that, for a 1080p 30 video, maybe even 1080p 60. Upload the footage, edit it together in the cloud, make all the footage unlisted, don't monetize it or anything, and then make videos out of it in the cloud, publish those as YouTube videos. And be able to have like Creator Academy and some other stuff as part of the whole suite of everything. I mean, how come Google can try to compete with Office suites, but not video editors? That's my question. It seems to me like YouTube should want to buff the video editor to where you could use it to make stuff, not just edit what you already have. Be a nice way to progress for this platform to progress forward. So yeah, this was not a smart idea. Not a time when YouTube streaming needs more viewers. And again, the excuse, it wasn't used very much. If people don't understand the value of something, they're not going to use it, and if it's not interesting enough, people aren't going to use it. But I'd like to see YouTube encourage people to make both videos and streams through a robust video editor that can work with both. And it can do both too. It can edit what's already there, and it can make new stuff. Somebody at YouTube was not keeping an eye on feature parity and competitiveness versus the competition. Because nothing that YouTube does should be getting ceded to Twitch. Nothing. Twitch should be inferior in everything. I mean, we're talking about a platform that comes up with a fancy new way for you to delete content and thinks it's a new feature. YouTube shouldn't have to sync to that. And YouTube shouldn't make it so a platform that does that has something that YouTube doesn't. I think I've made my point with this. 410 at Jay's Geek House. And you know what? This gear that I have here that's new in the box, I want to make some darn videos. Good old-fashioned YouTube stuff. This week's going to be a rough week. This week's going to, just like a lot of the other ones have been. But I want to get this done. And I've run out of stuff to talk about. And I don't think any kind of Twitter drama between Twitch streamers is going to be worth talking about on here anymore, so might as well kick back, relax, put my feet up, grab the darn camera, and get going with some of the other stuff I want to do. YouTube, fix your stuff. And stop thinking that you don't need to be competitive with other platforms, because it's not even about being competitive with other platforms. It's about being competitive with your own products. Why should Google's Office programs be going in one direction, but Google's video editor for YouTube, the premier video platform in the whole world, be going in the other direction? Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.